Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of our Dungeon Boss Rune Theory. With the most recent release of the guild games, we're doing a PvE guild games, came along with it one of our newest runes as far as the ultra runes go. The other night when I was doing a live stream, I made it kind of clear that I thought for sure it would be a nature rune, just because I didn't think we were ready for dark runes to be out there yet as far as shade goes, and people stockpiling corrupted hearts and ultimately loading these up on shade. Lo and behold, I was incorrect, and with the most recent games comes the dark rune, which is called the corruption rune. What we're going to be looking at today is the superior corruption rune. We're going to look at what its overall stats are, and so you can determine if this is a rune that you want to pursue, determine if the cost of this rune is worth it for you. So looking at just the materials alone, if you're familiar with doing epics, you'll realize the cost of some of these things here. You're going to be burning through some materials. There's nothing new there. So if you're planning on putting 5 of these on shade, it might be a little bit costly. So I was originally planning on doing so. I don't know if I'm going to do it just yet. I want to see what the overall numbers look like first, and then we'll talk a little bit about how this rune compares to other dark runes and what's going to be the best option for you. So first off, looking at crafting this thing, it's a pretty big beast to craft here. So we need 3 cores and 6 sources. So those are combo items right from the start that require other crafted items before them. The totems, not a big issue there. We can easily create 3 wicked totems. That's pretty easy. The spirits are usually pretty easy to create as well. So why don't we go ahead and do the 3 wicked totems first. Wicked totem, 1, 2, 3. Next up, we want to do those shadow spirits. The spirits themselves are partially combo items, but most of the time they're not too bad. So shadow spirit, we need 15 of them. When we look at shadow spirit, looks like the limiting factor here is going to be the dark etched bars. We're going to need 15 dark etched bars. Once you get into creating dark etched bars, that's where your pyre embers come from. Now fortunately, I kind of suspected this would be the case with the guild games going on right now. If you're watching this as the guild games are going on, run that event dungeon over and over and over. You'll get essentially an endless supply of pyre embers, and it's not a surprise because you're going to need them for this rune here. So let's pop into the dark etched bar. We need 15 of them. I suspect because those cores and sources require additional spirits, we might need some more dark etched bars. So I'm going to go ahead and make 20 of them. They're 3 pyre embers apiece, so I'm going to be burning through 60 of these for the most part. If you're wondering where I got all the pyre embers from, I got them from quick looting the event dungeon. I had a lot of loot keys and I had a lot of stamina, so I had all that stuff saved up. Doesn't look like any of my other resources are going to be an issue here. Usually silver is the other one that I run out of after pyre embers, but I got a decent supply of that one as well. Alright, so let's go and make our shadow spirits then. We needed 15 of them. We'll cover that material. And now we got to look at the sources and the cores, and I don't remember which one we needed which of. So corruption, we need 3 cores and 6 sources. So let's get into ancient. Sources are the easier one, and cores are the more advanced. Actually, they look pretty much similar. Let's do these 6 sources first. We need some more spirits. We need 6 of these, so we need 6 additional shadow spirits, and we're going to need 6 frost spirits and 6 elemental jewels. So frost spirits, we'll need 6 of these guys. We got no frost etched bars, so let's do 6 of these first. We're going to need more etched bars. We're going to need frost ones, I know for a fact, because of the frost spirit. And then one of these, actually, you know what, I won't make any more just yet. So let's do shadow spirit, 6 of them. Frost spirit, 6 of them. And now let's take a look at Source, we need elemental jewel. It's going to be an elemental, and then jewel. No problems here. We're low on light jewels, but that's alright. We don't use these very often. And I do apologize if this bores you, but I think it's important for those of you that are crafting this for the first time to see how many materials you're actually going to need for these things. I'm not even considering the gem cost. I wouldn't try to do this without a few thousand gems saved as well, because just the crafting cost alone is the 2,200 gems, so be cautious there. Alright, so the ancient core, we're going to need 3 of these. We need 3 mountain spirits, 3 flame spirits. That's going to be more etched bars. Mountain spirit is going to need 3 flame. Oh, sorry, the flame spirit needs 3 flame bars. We'll need 3 etched earth and 3 light essences. Essence, light, 1, 2. Oh no, I ran out of materials here. Alright, so I'm going to have to farm a couple of those quick. We need etched bars, earth etched bars, and flame etched bars. 1, 2, 3. Earth etched bars, 3. Flame crystals, I believe is what we need here. So flame crystal, I'm going to go into, I believe the Aether shop has these here, because I'm basically out of loot keys, so I can't even farm these effectively. We're looking for crystal materials. Those are just totems. Oh, that's a bummer. Alright, let's look at our dungeon shop. Materials, crystal materials, there they are. So we need 3, 3, 3. We need 9 of them. I'm going to buy just a few of these here. I was worried for a second. Alright, so that should be 15 of them. We'll buy 1 more for good measure. I hate to waste my honor on little materials like this, because I really prefer to spend honor on those runes. Alright, light essences. I think we needed 3 of them. I think I already forgot, to be honest. Ancient, core. So we needed 3 of these. These were for the flame spirit and the mountain spirit. Mountain spirit, we're good. 1, 2, 3. Flame spirit, we are good. 1, 2, 3. Ancient core, we need elemental ingot is the last one. Elemental ingot, I believe, is each of the earth or etched bars. Yep, we need 3 of them, so we need 3 of each etched bar. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. So I usually don't craft much of these things until I actually need them. I don't see the reason for stockpiling these, and I don't do much in the way of running boss mode dungeons anymore, or those boss island dungeons anymore. Elemental ingot 3, we're good. So ancient core 1, 2, 3, and that should be it. Dark, corruption, superior corruption rune. So here we go. It is attack, and defense, which for me it just screams shade. In addition to shade, I think it's really helpful for somebody like Astrid as well, but really anybody that want to stack attack on and not lose too much defense, I think it's going to benefit them as well. The 4th stat is not a plus damage or anything like that. That's going to be the ultimate determining factor that we're looking at here in terms of how many of these runes we actually want to use. It's got disease touch. Now, anybody that's created the incineration rune knows that there is a plethora of issues with the incineration rune. Multiple reports of it not working. Personally, I really don't use it. I have it equipped on somebody, but I don't really pay attention if it procs or not. So I'm not really disappointed if it works or doesn't work. But take that with a grain of salt as far as this disease touch. There's some theory out there that suggests that the touch runes only work if you do melee attacks, so putting it on shade may never proc anyways. That's something you'd have to test out. I haven't done the test for it yet. Gem cost is 2,200, so if you did want to build 5 of these for shade, you're looking at over 10,000. It's going to be 11,000 gems to do so, but it's going to be a one-time craft. More importantly, it's going to be pretty resource heavy, though, is what it is. So let's take a look at the fully maxed out stats then. I don't know what the scoop is with the question mark. I guess they couldn't come up with a graphic for how this rune should look. That's pretty, I don't know, pretty lazy if you ask me. Let's go ahead and accept it, and then let's upgrade it. See if we can find it. Corruption rune, there should be. Upgrade. Okay, so we are at 937 attack, which is pretty much about as high as you can get as far as attack goes on a rune. But we have to measure that against other runes of its type. Now, as far as I know, there are no champion or duelist runes, these Boss Island PvP ones that you get from the Honor Shop, that have a plus 10% generic bonus to PvP. There are some dark runes that have it. For example, some power ones have bonus damage strictly to PvP. There are some precision ones somewhere that have explicit damage to PvP. I do not believe there are any of those Boss 100 runes that offer this, though. So if you already have plus damage PvP runes on, it's likely that you have something like such. Pull up shade here. It's likely you have something like this, where it's plus 10 or 15% to a particular class or a particular enemy type. So you need to determine if the extra damage from the actual attack stat is going to be worth it compared to a plus 10 or plus 15% here. Now this duelist rune has 911. The difference between 930 and 911 is almost negligible. So if we consider 10% of 930, that's an extra 93. We can't really compare attack and damage. We have to see what the actual attack does. So the basic attack does 1152, and then we would add 10% of that, which is going to be another 100 damage. Versus if we do an extra 90 to the attack stat, it's not going to quite stack up. So in the grand scheme of things, yes, you will have probably a higher base damage, but if you find yourself going against the same type of opponents where you know that you're always looking to hit a particular tank or a rogue in this case, there's a tank one, there's another rogue one, and there's that's a reduction one, so it doesn't matter. So as far as the overall numbers go, you're getting an extra 20-some attack out of it, which basically is going to yield very, very little extra damage. Remember that the base damage calculation when we look at abilities is this value here is basically 50% of your attack stat. So if this is what it is right now, and we add 20 to it, we're only going to get another just a little bit of extra damage out of it versus a percent damage. And remember, percent damage, the damage penetration is if there's no damage reduction on the opponent, it functions as a damage multiplier. So it does do extra bonus damage to it as well. When we look at the calculations for it, bonus damage, or that damage penetration, is still additive in nature. It's not multiplicative like damage reduction. If we look at stats, for example, damage penetration 8%, 4% for each rune. There's no weird multiplication going on here. So you can still stack all of those individual runes. If you do have some power runes that have plus 10% or even plus 5%, those runes in the grand scheme of things will likely be better than the superior corruption rune. So my overall professional assessment, and you can correct some of the math if you like, if you feel like there's something I overlooked. If you have runes that have generic plus damage to PvP, those are going to be better than the corruption rune. If you don't do a lot of PvP and you just do PvE dungeons, for the most part, these will be the highest type of attacks that runes that you can get. So they would be sort of worth it there. I don't see the benefit of stacking 5 of them on Shade. I doubt that the Disease Touch is going to be really worth it there. I don't know that 5 of them is going to multiply the proc chance by 5, nor do I know if the rune itself is going to function well if it's anything like the Incineration rune. So hopefully by seeing the actual end value of the stats, it gives you an idea if this is a rune that you want to invest in. Personally, I think the Guardian runes and the Survivor runes are still the 2 most premier runes in the game, because their force stat is much more viable and much more useful in PvP, with that bonus defense to start with and that cleansing regeneration to start with. A little thing like Disease Touch, I don't think that's really a game changer, and I think, to be honest, it's very wise of the developers to keep that force stat pretty manageable on that, just because of somebody like Shade. What I'm thinking, though, is, and this is just pure speculation, don't quote me on this, once we get a Ultra rune of each color, I do feel like there is going to be some new elite hero that's going to be released that has a rune loadout that we didn't see that allows for 1 of each color, and then we can have sort of a Thanos of Dungeon Boss, and he can collect these runes like they're Infinity Stones, and we can equip each of the 5 Ultra runes on him, and he'd be this supreme being and just dominates everybody. I think that'd be pretty cool. But like I said, that's just speculation. I'm surprised, well, there's only a few heroes that have unique rune loadouts, but I'm surprised they haven't made a rainbow one yet that allows for 1 of each color. But like I said, hopefully seeing the end stats here will kind of let you know if this is a rune that you want to pursue, or in my opinion, I think you should still invest in Guardian and Survivor runes, to be honest. This one here isn't a must-have. If you don't have any superior runes to start with and you can actually craft this one, then yeah, maybe it's a good start. It'll give you some good base attack to work with. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we will see you again next time. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting my channel. If you like this video, please show your continued support by hitting that like button, and be sure to check out both my YouTube channels for new content all the time. And always remember, peace is a lie, there's only passion. We'll see you next time.